Greetings, programs. I wanted to take a second to tell you how I created this season of Recruiter Friend using Riverside FM. Riverside is an online platform that records audio and video footage locally and uploads it to the cloud. It's been super easy for me to use. I set up a studio on the website, I send a link to my guests, and that's it. In over a decade of podcasting, finding out post-recording that the audio or video quality was bad was my biggest complaint. Not having to worry about it this season has been a huge relief. Using the affiliate link in the description below, you can check out all the other features Riverside has to offer, like their shiny new editor. Now, on with the show. Greetings, programs, and welcome to another episode of Recruiter Friend, the show where we learn about the people behind the keyboard. Today, we are joined by a podcasting dynamo, lore lover, and a man named after the main thing my wife and I have in common. Let's give a big Recruiter Friend welcome to Jin. Thanks for being here.
Technically, I'm not actually named after the alcohol, in case you're curious.
What?
No,
I'm going to need you to explain yourself, sir.
It is going to be so anticlimactic, you're going to be sad afterwards. So in World of Warcraft, you can do randomized names, and my name was Gincan, or Jincan if you want to pronounce it that way. So Gincan. And people in World of Warcraft, you don't always say two syllables. It's always shortened to the first syllable of a name, and it just stuck. There you go. Yeah. That's where the name came from.
That is anticlimactic, and I am a little bit sad. Yeah,
Show over, everybody. Sorry. Brought it down.
Yeah, all right. That was Jin, folks. You can find him on Twitter. Okay, all right. You know what? I'll take it. The names are the names. That's it. Jim, why don't you tell us how you first what was your first exposure to the World of Warcraft before you hit that randomized name?
Well, my first exposure to the Warcraft franchise was probably technically Warcraft 2. Yes, because of the age range and things like that. And I played Warcraft 2 before I played Warcraft 1. I did eventually go back and play Warcraft 1. Found out that the balance wasn't great in that game, and I stuck with Warcraft 2. It's much better. Played that so friggin' much as probably about 5th, 6th grade for me. And I think I racked up about a $90 phone bill playing Warcraft 2 using the dial-up back in the day.
Oh, no.
Yeah, me and one of my best friends growing up, we would play Garden of War just all the time, that map, just constantly. And yeah, sadly, when you live far enough apart, there's this whole thing back that it doesn't exist anymore, everyone, but there was a thing called a toll charge when you're a bit out of the service area. And yeah, $90 playing Warcraft 2.
Like long distance for your internet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, basically.
That's, were you... you must have been a child. How did your parents handle that?
Oh,
bill?
yeah, that was... I had to pay him back.
That's funny.
Luckily, though, we had a toll-free number for my dad's business that he owned that we figured out a workaround. So we're
nice.
like, oh, sweet, we'll just do this.
Nice. All right, Warcraft 2, great game. So then did that lead you right into Warcraft 3? Did you go right from...
Well, Warcraft 3 wasn't out yet. This was in the 90s. So, but yeah, when Warcraft 3 dropped, I was so excited because I had played so much Warcraft 2. Right. Warcraft 3 came out. I was strangely like, what is this? I don't get it. Because there was so much basis around the hero units. And it was very much a different game. And I was used to playing, at that point, Starcraft. And 'cause obviously Starcraft 2 wasn't out yet. So tons of Brood War Starcraft that I was playing. Strangely, don't play very many RTSs these days, but I used to love them.
They were your jam.
Yeah, they really were my jam. Used to play like Age of Empires 2 and all that stuff too. Yeah, that was great. So yeah, Warcraft 3 grabbed me and was like, hey, you remember those really janky cutscenes from Warcraft 2 that you thought were cool? Check this out. And I was like, ah! Particularly, it was the one where Thrall and Grom defeated Manaroth, where I swear I was up out of my chair running around like screaming and yelling. It was amazing. And then obviously, and this, trust me, this will lead me into how I actually eventually got into World of Warcraft. was, well, there was this little thing called the Frozen Throne expansion pack. So I got that too. And I played through it. And the stupid game ended on a cliffhanger. Yeah. So Arthas is just up there. He's just chilling at the top of Icecrown. And that made me very upset.
Is that an Icecrown joke? Chilling? He's chilling?
He was chilling. He was...
It's a Northrend joke, folks. We're here all night.
It was absolutely a Northrend joke. He was very chilly. And yeah, I remember just going, is that it? What? Not knowing that they were developing World of Warcraft at the same time, blah, 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 blah. Right. I tried World of Warcraft when it first came out, so I knew about it right away because my wife's cousin, I live in California, but in Northern California, so he drove down to the Fry's Electronics in Southern California for the midnight opening, and he got a collector's edition of the original Warcraft set. And what happened is, back in the day, it was the joke. I even talked to a Blizzard employee about this, and he was like, that was your first hit, because what they had is you could give a DVD of the game, because that's the strange thing. When I first played the game, I only had one DVD, not like 5 discs or something like that to install the game. And I really enjoyed it, but I had a really crappy laptop. And then there was this little thing called a monthly fee. And when you're kind of poor and in the military, I was like, nah, I don't think I want to do that. So once I got out of the military, and then they announced this little thing called Wrath of the Lich King, I was like, oh, so that jerk at the end of Warcraft 3 is finally going down. Okay, I'm in. You got me. You sold me. So I started at the end of Burning Crusade, and the really funny thing is I timed it perfectly. I started leveling when I joined in Burning Crusade, and I actually managed to hit level 70 the night before Wrath of the Lich King came out.
Really?
Just never stopped leveling. Just kept going.
Love it. Were you leveling through when the Scourge event happened?
Yeah, I missed it. I didn't even know it was happening. People were whispering me like, oh my God,
there's Stormwind.
There's zombies everywhere. And I'm like in the Hinterlands going, what are you talking about?
It's funny. What was your first character you made?
Well, okay. Technically, the first character I made was a whole bunch of characters on the Suramar server, I believe, that are just, they're still there. They're still on my account, but I don't know what the first one was. But the actual first one I rolled was my namesake, the one that I actually started leveling, which was Jin, right? My warrior. And I've been playing him ever since. Never re-rolled, never changed. I do play alts from time to time, but it's still playing the same Fury warrior. Sometimes protection, but usually Fury warrior.
I love it. I just realized my childhood friend, we've known each other since we were 10, who is the reason I play Warcraft, also played a warrior whose name was Genkin, Genken.
Oh,
which is
close,
very close to
very close.
Ginkin. Ginkin, yeah, that's I'm wondering how random that randomized name is now.
I don't know how it works.
Yeah,
it's not super random. It's clearly a set of names, because there was several names that I was like, oh, that's cool. When I clicked it, name taken. I was like, oh, all right. Keep clicking random.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah. It's already taken.
I dig it. So you came back. You wanted to know what happened to Arthas. You were like, okay, listen, this cliffhanger's not cool with me. I'm here. I'm ready to do it. How did Wrath of the Lich King strike you? Was it everything you hoped it would be?
It was everything I'd hoped it to be, and a whole lot more, because I was horribly, horribly addicted. horribly addicted during Wrath. Lots of strain on personal relationships and things like that, now that I'm looking back on it. But yeah, it sunk its claws into me real deep. So I guess it's a good thing Cataclysm was the next expansion, because that one didn't grab me as much, but I kept playing. So
that's nice. Have you played straight through since the end of Burning Crusade?
All except for an 8-month break during Warlords of Draenor, because there's actually a fun story about that. I'll explain it to you. So we were struggling, me and my guild that I was in up until Warlords of Draenor. And we all were like kind of jazzed and excited about what the future of it was. And we were trying to like get everything together as a guild. And we all, like a whole bunch of us, and several of the officers, met up at BlizzCon that year. And they were telling us all about all the cool stuff that's coming. And then they told us what the release date was going to be. And it was like 9 months away. And I was like, okay, you know this Kilrog Deadeye that we're stuck on? And we've been stuck on them for like, feels like a month. I'm not doing this for 9 more months. I need a break. and I took a break for about 9 months and came back with what? I don't know. Legion? Yeah.
Yeah, it would have been Legion. You didn't want to wipe on Kilrog for 9 straight months?
No.
Weird. That is
no. I couldn't do it anymore. That
is weird.
That raid ended me. I was like, nope. I gotta take a break.
I love it. What would you say is your favorite part of Warcraft? The gameplay or the lore?
It depends on what expansion we're in, honestly.
Okay. Yeah.
For the most part, I would say like 90% of the time it's the lore, it's the story, because like there's long stretches of time where I just don't log in, but I'm still excited about it and talking about it, and I like learning about what's coming up next, making speculations and things like that. But there's plenty of times where I just really dig the gameplay too. But a good example is Shadowlands and my guild. I think I like the gameplay better then, because the lore was.
Yeah, me too.
What? I don't.
Wibbly
what's
wobbly,
happening here?
timey wimey.
Yeah, there's several confusing parts that you're just like, you Blizzard, you need to do a better job of explaining what you're doing here. This is. Yeah. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just really convoluted and confusing, and most people hate it.
Yeah. Did you when Shadow? So I played vanilla through to the end of Icecrown Citadel. I left the game after defeating Arthas. I came back to the game for it was the Shadowlands launch trailer that brought me. I took a 10-year break because I joined the Navy. And the Shadowlands launch trailer came out, and I was like, oh, it's Icecrown Citadel. Oh, it's Bolvar. Oh, I want to see what happens. This Shadowlands obviously looks like it's going to pick up the story that I loved. Far too much of my personality and my identity is tied to the Wrath of the Lich King and the Warcraft 3 characters and stories. Far, far too much. I recognize it's a problem. And I said, oh, well, they're going back to what I know. I'm going to come back to the game and see the conclusion, where this goes next. I missed everything in between there and came back 8.3. Then Shadowlands happened and they butchered my boy.
Well, you didn't like when Sylvanas said "Be gone, Arthas Menethil"?
No, they
didn't
butchered
strike you the right way.
my boy. Oh, I'm the jailer, and this was all me, and I sent the Dreadlords, and I actually Anyway, that's not what this show is about.
We had an entire episode of just the jailer is bad, and let's tell you why.
Yeah.
That was bad. That was a bad, very bad villain.
Yeah, I don't even know. I don't have a question there. I just wanted to talk about how unhappy I am with that.
Yeah, that cutscene was so great the first half, right? Too.
Yeah.
It's like, Anduin breaking free.
Yeah.
And then everyone's like, "Oh, look, it's Arthas. Bye."
Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh man, I don't know. It just felt really.
Like that.
Yeah. Felt weird. Felt bad. Felt not good. So okay, we're gonna focus on the positive stuff. We're here to talk about you, Jim. We're not here to talk about me and my issues.
All right. So how did that make you feel?
Yeah, unhappy. I felt cold.
So you could say you were chilling.
Yeah, that's right. I was chilling. Yeah, good callback. I love it. So you're playing the game. You're loving the game. You, at some point, decide I want more. I want to do more. I want to create more. And you start a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
What
I did
leads you to that point? What is that path? And how rewarding is it, I guess?
Well, so what happened? I'll kind of explain the impetus what got me to dive in, which was talking to a couple friends at BlizzCon, and just I could ramble for hours about it. And then there was a couple conversations of, friends that, played with me. And what really did it is one of my friends actually looked at me and said, "Who's Sylvanas?" And I was like, okay, I need to fix this. There's a problem in this community. They don't know the story. I got to tell them. So the initial kind of foray, the jump into podcasting was with a podcast that was known as Morally Gray, because that was the joke around the time, is that Sylvanas she was supposed to be morally gray. She wasn't morally gray. She wasn't. She was just flat out evil. No. So just so you know, that was the joke. It was a joke of a name. And the whole idea was to just tell the story from beginning to end, right? And that's like a damn near impossible task because, well, I'll be honest, I didn't finish. Didn't finish. That show ended. There was, let's just say, a conflict of interest between the hosts, and also I ended it at July of 2021. And you can probably guess what was going on in the community at the time. I just no longer felt comfortable making that show, right, with everything going on. So moved away from that, and I at that point I had already started Live Laugh Lore with Allie, because what had been happening is Allie had Dungeon Fables and I had Morally Gray, which we were both talking about old stuff, nothing current. She was talking about, here is what's going on in this dungeon from vanilla, now Burning Crusade. Yeah, she was just working her way through the dungeons, and I was working my way through basically Chronicle. That's what I was working my way through.
All right.
And both of us were, we struck up a conversation on Discord a couple times. She was a fan. She liked the show. I was a fan of Dungeon Fables, and eventually I reached out and was like, hey, are you kind of getting tired of talking about old stuff? Do you want to join in the current conversation? And she's like, boy, howdy do I. And that's where Live Laugh Lore came from. Because literally the little intro quote was making jokes about the fact that, oh, we're actually going to talk about current stuff. We're not talking about stuff from the past. And we've been enjoying the heck out of it ever since. So it's been a lot of fun to create it. But yeah, and it's still a long-term goal for me. Maybe one day is to pick up that original idea and do something with it, because I still got all the notes. I still have it all in chronological order. So because it's a problem that Blizzard clearly doesn't know how to fix, which is new players join the game and they're like, I have no idea what is going on. What is this story? So the game does not tell you what the story is if you just log in and play, because they're like, no, gameplay first, man. Go to raid. Yeah. You want to go to raid night, or go push some keys or whatever. I'm like, I want to learn the story because I like the story. That's why I play the games.
We need the Taliesin path of the curator. We need
exactly. Yeah, if they could do something like that, that'd be amazing.
Yeah.
Right? That's why Miss Pandaria was so great, because they had Lore Walker Cho and all of that stuff, because he would just like, oh, let me tell you a story, and he would just tell you the story. It's fantastic. I loved Miss Pandaria for that. Yeah,
it is definitely something that they either don't know how to fix, or they're like trying to come up with an elegant solution, and it's just taking what seems like far too long.
It's a problem. It's a big problem.
Yeah, I love that. So, had you done any podcasting before starting Morally Gray, or was that your first?
Nope, that was the first one.
Had you done anything like videos? Nothing.
Nothing at all.
Did you? Were you self-taught? Like, did you just go, okay, let me figure out how to do
I was not self-taught. I was selfish taught. Selfish.
Okay.
That's funny. Like I was selfish or something.
Now we know why Morally Gray ended.
I'm selfish. No, so what happened was I was a huge fan of Convert to Raid back in the day when that was still running. And Pat Crane had a podcast launchpad that he just put together a PDF, which is really just PowerPoint. They turned into a PDF, and it kind of explained, hey, that's how you podcast. Okay. I just followed that. I pretty much followed his like every little bit of advice that he gave, that's how I started. And from there, I just slowly worked my way into like, okay, I see what he's talking about, a non-destructive editing software. I think I need that. Looking at you, Audacity.
Yeah. Oh, please, folks, if you're a podcaster and you're new or old, don't use Audacity.
Yeah, I mean, it served its purpose for about 60 episodes, but then I was like, this is not working anymore.
Right, right. What would you say are the biggest challenges of hosting a podcast, especially with two guests who aren't like local?
Honestly, the biggest challenge that you're going to run into is, well, before this wonderful Riverside FM.
Isn't Riverside great? Isn't it the Cartridge
Yeah,
Pro
that's pretty
Studio
nice.
here at Riverside is
Yeah. Basically, what I was trying to figure out is originally we were doing it off of Skype, and it was just figuring out a way to record both of us and get the audio to work, and not him hearing himself too. Right, the mix minus was a bit of a challenge when you're first getting into it. So that was a problem, but I eventually figured it out. I think I was having to use a lot of what was the name of that? It's the virtual audio inputs. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh yeah. It's
Like like
oh
V
I can't
meter or something. I think I have it still
yeah, I
installed
can't think
here.
of the name, but
Oh,
it
voice
is
meter.
like
Yeah, I still have it installed right
yes.
here. Yeah, using voice meter and figuring that out. That was the biggest challenge, was figuring out how to get Audacity to record voice meter as the input. That was a challenge. But since I have a IT background, I was able to figure it out. Not too bad.
Nice.
And I just slowly upgraded my podcasting stuff over time, and it. And I would say the quality of the show upgraded a little bit. Obviously, when we got better microphones, that's probably the biggest jump in quality. But the biggest quality, the biggest, I would say, like, just quality of life improvement that I ever got was getting a real editing software and being able to learn how to use templates and figuring out how to use all of the inbuilt stuff. Oh God, did that speed up my editing so much?
What's your tech stack for recording and editing? What platforms are you using?
So for me, I use Adobe Audition. All right, that's where I record everything in, and I also record edit in there as well. I've just got a kind of nice little workflow going there. So what I do is I've got it set up because I've also got an actual mixer now that allows me to record separate channels simultaneously, so I can do fun things with with the soundboard, and Allie can hear it while I'm recording it, and it records all the sounds into a separate track. It records her as a separate track, records me as a separate track. So it makes things much easier in the long run to do everything like that. Yeah. And then she also records her audio on her end. She uses Audacity to do that, but then she just sends me over the local file, and I plug it in, and just, since I'm recording her as well, lining up the audio tracks is super simple. It's just like, make it sound like a weird echo, and you did it.
Yeah. Isn't that the most fun? When that point when it lines up and you're like, ooh, I hit it.
Yeah, it's like, ooh, it's like I'm in a hallway or something. This is perfect.
Yeah. Very cool. Adobe has some great stuff. They have a really nice vocal enhancer that I think uses some AI in the back end. That is really nice. One of the other guests we had on this season actually told me about they use it. Yeah, I love the nitty gritty, the podcast specifics. That's the stuff that you don't.
Yeah, I could talk about this stuff for hours, because that's God.
Right.
The upgrades that I did for a while was funny. For a long time, it was a pretty janky setup. My favorite was when I was using an iPad, and so there was 2 points. At one point, I had an iPad, and that was a little too large and clunky, and that was the soundboard. I literally had it feeding in as an aux cable into an older mixer, not as good as this one, and that's how I did all the sounds. And then eventually I got was that thing called? The Kindle Fire, right? So because it was little, I was like, yeah, I want a little cheap one that it has a little stand, and that's because all I need is just to push a button, play sound.
Right, right. What kind of mixer do you have? I used to have an old Behringer that I loved.
Yeah, I don't remember the old one that I had, but the one that I currently have is the Zoom Live Track 8, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I'm able to get it all set up, so it's got my microphone going in. I got, also the computer audio coming into it. And then also this thing goes into it as well. Departos! There you go.
Is that still your Kindle Fire?
No, that's been upgraded to the old Elgato Stream Deck.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah. Elgato. Thanks. This is not an ad, but it could be Elgato if you're listening.
Yeah, I got a couple of this beautiful lighting is right here.
Yeah.
That is the Elgato key light. Yeah.
Their stuff is good. I don't know if it makes me sound or look any better, but I keep buying it, so it's working. Did you set yourself like a budget? Was there like, I'm only going to let myself spend X amount, or are you like me and extremely impulsive and make bad decisions with money and just
a little bit of both? Yeah. It's if I really, really want it, I just buy it, and I'll just buy it for myself. But for the most part, it was everything was purchased over time with Patreon funds. It's fans signed up and were like, "Hey, we like you." I save that up for obviously cover the cost of hosting and everything like that for the show, and then and the Adobe subscription too. And then, anything above and beyond that went to making the show better.
Upgrades. I love it. That's great. I had a question there and it just escaped me. I don't know what it was. Come back. Maybe it'll come back. Oh, weekly. You guys just recently shifted to weekly.
Yeah, we did.
What brought that on? And is it going to stay that way? Or have you realized, wow, it's a lot of work weekly?
No, so obviously in the back end, you could probably tell that Allie and I take turns writing the notes. So I typically only have to write the notes for a show twice, maybe 3 times if it's a 5-weeker in there. So that's not too bad. And I've been able to get to the point where editing the show is pretty quick. Like, because honestly, a lot of those little silly mistakes that I make and I say things wrong, it's just, I make fun of myself. It's whatever. It's funny. It doesn't bother me. So as long as the audio sounds good and you know what I'm saying, if I stumble over a word, that's fine. I just leave it in there. I think people sometimes like it. It's only when I will throw something in there and neither of us know what it is, and we'll like, oh, go look it up, and that's editor Jin will go answer the question.
I love it.
And then the good news is I found an Adobe Audition while you're recording it. If you just tap M on your keyboard, it makes a mark. So that's all you gotta do.
Right where to go.
So if I'm like, oh, well, let me hit a mark, and I'll mark that, and I'll know exactly where to edit that in.
That's great. I wish Riverside, if you're listening, and you might be, that's a feature we could use here.
Really the markers are great. Yeah, it's fabulous.
Yeah. You know what? It might already have that here. I should probably check before I put them on blast like that. Don't worry. We'll edit that.
Send me the user guide before I send you on blast or something.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I dig it.
I see a mark clip button right there. Maybe that's it.
Do you really? Oh, yeah. Look at that. There is right there. Okay. It's like the second button. It's literally right next to stop. I'm going to hit it. Let's see what happens when we hit it. Hopefully this doesn't break the show. Mark clip. Add a marker. Created clip. All right. We're going to find out what that does, folks. Live on the air. That's great. They totally have the thing we talked about. We love you, Riverside. Doing a great job. Keep it up. Yeah, I'm putting their kids through college. It's a great show. I love it. I love you and Al. You got your chemistry is fantastic. Please don't ever stop making it. Is there any potential for spin-offs or maybe raid fables with the two of you, or morally Allie?
I mean, we haven't really talked about it, but like the main reason why we went weekly is Dungeon Fables ended, obviously Morally Gray ended, a while ago. My work like my IRL work kind of just finally slowed down to the point where I felt comfortable that I could do weekly. And both of us were like, yeah, I think we can swing it. We both used to do a weekly show and do Live, Laugh, Lore on top of it. So let's go.
Yeah. Let's do it up.
Yeah, so it's been a lot of fun. We definitely enjoy the weekly cadence, because when you're every other week, there is this really sad thing, especially when you're trying to talk about current events in the lore. And sometimes, like, say, patch 10.1 came out, and you're like, oh, let's talk about all the new cool lore stuff. And then people would have to wait like a week or 2 weeks to even hear our takes. And, like, a lot of times people had moved on from it. So
yeah,
that's one of the main reasons we wanted to go weekly, was let's get the information out there faster.
Yeah. It moves fast. It really does. The Twitter is a wild spot, man.
Yeah. Well, it's a very wild spot right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for other reasons. Yep. Mr. Jin, what does the future hold for you? What can we hope to expect as we head into the war within?
Well, with this whole World Soul saga and their like emphasis on storytelling, and Chris being back and him up on stage talking about how epic it's going to be, real epic, right? That kind of stuff. I'm just excited for what's coming, and just trying to figure out other ways to get my crazy stuff in my head creatively out there. Recently just started up doing little short clips of the show as we're recording it now, so I've been enjoying doing that. And you never know. I mean, maybe one day I will pick up the whole, like, hey, let's tell the story, and I don't know, maybe I'll do it as a YouTube or something. I don't know. Who knows what the future holds for Live, Laugh, Lore? Could it be spin-offs or something like that? I don't know. I'm just here for the ride, and I'm enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun, because I like the story of this crazy little game, and it's really entertaining.
Nice. I love it. You kind of got like a Chris Metzen vibe going on with your whole aesthetic there.
It wasn't on. It's not like I was doing it on purpose.
No, okay.
It just this just happened.
All right. It suits you. It looks good. Yeah, I like it. Cool.
Yeah, I like it too. Every time I see pictures of me without the beard, I'm like, I'm gonna keep it.
We're gonna keep this. Yeah, we're definitely pro beard club here. At the show.
Yep.
Hey, sorry to interrupt, but I have to tell you about this season's sponsor. Ember Creative is a studio and agency dedicated to making life easier for streamers. They've helped me shape Recruit a Friend through brand design, video editing, and social media management. But they do so much more than that. Literally anything you need. If you're looking for a team capable of diving deep to help you achieve your goals, however big or small, call them. Also, they're fairly tolerable human beings. Ember Creative. Content ignited. Yeah. All right. Jim, we end every episode with 10 questions, our little Recruit a Friend questionnaire. If you are ready, sir, I would like to ask you those now.
I am absolutely ready.
Question number 1. What is your favorite word?
So this one took me a long time to figure out what on earth I would say, because I'm like, if it's me, apparently I like the word right a lot. Okay. I say it in every single one of my recordings, to the point where I've started editing some of that out. I'm like, dude, you say that too much.
Really?
But my real favorite word is actually from an old Calvin and Hobbes comic, because I just thought it was the funniest thing on the planet. And it's smock. It's just fun to say. It's smock.
Okay.
There's an entire comic where Hobbes was just like, I just like to say smock, 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 smock.
That's a great word. Smock. I dig it.
Yeah, that's a great word.
Yeah. Question number 2. What is your least favorite word?
Can't. I don't like it.
Okay.
No, it's yeah, you can. You're just making an excuse. You can figure it out. You can do it.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
If you said Riverside can't mark clips, you would be wrong.
That's true. That's true. You would be wrong, because it's right there.
It's right there. Question number 3. What sound or noise do you love?
Yeah, this was another one that I was like, well, I I don't like suffer from misophonia or something like whatever that is, where
I don't even know what that word means.
It means like certain sounds just drive you up a wall. Like for example,
Okay.
I'll tell you what my least favorite thing is when we get to that question. But anyway, I had to figure it out. And I was like, okay, I know what it is. It's the most relaxing, most just like peaceful sound there is, and that is when you're on outside on a walk or something like that. It's nice. It's not super windy, but just a little bit of wind, and you hear that rustling of the leaves and the trees. Oh, it's the best. I absolutely love it.
That's a good answer. I like that. I'm very excited for this next question. What sound or noise do you hate?
So, misophonia is often associated with people and chewing loudly or smacking of like food or like chewing with your mouth open. It's just that noise is just super disgusting. And I don't even have that, but whenever people are like, "Oh, I just can't stand listening to that person eat," I'm like, I get that. There's some stuff out there.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my least favorite sound is when someone's just over there just like garp, 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 just chew it away. So no,
I love it. Okay. No mukbang streams for Jin. Got it.
No. Good Lord. No. It's the grossest thing on the planet.
Yep. Question number 5. What is your favorite dungeon?
Favorite dungeon is, I'm going to give you a two-parter. I'm going to give you a little two-parter. So for like the story, the lore, the background, and everything around it, that's going to be Grim Batol. I love it. Also the gameplay. I loved that the Cataclysm Heroic. It was like a pain in the butt back in the day. That was fun. I really liked that. Because I'm a dwarf. I love the dwarves, and I've always had this like thing about being a Wildhammer dwarf. So when they finally allowed for, the tattoos and stuff like that for the dwarves, I freaked out. So that's the main reason why I like Grim Batol. But the second favorite, not really second favorite, but like tied for favorite, but for a different reason, is Halls of Lightning. And that's just basically because that's where I learned to play the game.
Right.
It was literally one of my first heroic dungeons where I didn't know what anything meant. I had no idea. I'd never installed an add-on before. Nothing. Like, so the main tank in our guild, he actually at the time, he ran us through the dungeon because I was like, oh, I need some drops. And I was just talking in guild chat and he brought us in there. And he was actually explaining, go into your user interface and turn on enemy cast bars because Loken, you need to interrupt his lightning nova or we're all going to die.
Yeah.
Or I don't know exactly what it was, but it was some interrupt that you had to do because I think the lightning nova, you just run out, but whatever. Anyway.
Yeah.
We got stuck on that boss for so friggin' long that it's a good memory of me getting frustrated and just like, I don't know what I'm doing. And him just like, no, it's cool, man. Like, just let's keep going. This is how you do it. And yeah, it was a fun memory of basically learning to kind of play the game. Because kind of before that, I didn't even know which end of the sword to hold. It was terrible.
There's a lot in that dungeon that is really tough. The trap in the room where all the statues come to life, that's tough if you're a new player. The third boss that turns into like the little lightning sparks and chases you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough. And even the trash up to Loken, there's a cast that they do that will like kill everybody if it goes on. That's a tough one. That's a good answer. I like that answer. That's a solid dungeon pick.
Yeah, I still like going back to Halls of Lightning just because it's cool.
Yeah.
Mostly because I think my favorite boss of all time is the very first boss in there, just because he's awesome. The way he's all he keeps switching stances, and then I get jealous and I forget that we don't really have stance dancing anymore. It's sad,
man. They stole it from us.
Yeah, they stole it.
Question number 6: what is your least favorite dungeon?
Yeah, that's what it was. Underrot. A place.
Really?
A place is nasty, dude. That is the grossest looking dungeon I've ever seen. It literally looks like it's made of mold and I'm going to get some kind of awful infection just walking in there. It is just blah.
It does look like mold. I love the dialogue in there. Rot and wither. That's such a good line.
Ugh, I can't stand under it. It's just that vibe of like, hey, do you like moldy bread? Let's make a whole dungeon that looks like that.
Yeah. Oh, you almost made me throw up just there. Yeah, good call. All right, Underrot's now my least favorite dungeon as well.
Looks fuzzy. Like the whole walls look fuzzy. You know what I mean? It's
It
just
does look
bleh.
fuzzy, yeah. This place tastes like green.
Mm-hmm.
Question number 7. What is your favorite curse word?
I just gotta go with fuck. It's it's so versatile.
Yeah.
It's I was thinking about this and it's like, yeah, we'll go with that. It's really straightforward. We'll stick
You
stick
start
with the
weighing
classic.
the options. You're like, well, fuck's right there. It's
Yeah. It's like, well, what's your favorite soda? I'm like, well, I really like Coke. It's really good. So, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll go with that.
Question number 8. What is your favorite raid?
That is absolutely have to be the Throne of Thunder. Throne of Thunder is the best freaking raid. Only because, number one, that's actually a lot of people's favorite raids. It is just everything about Throne of Thunder, except maybe the turtle boss. The turtle boss was like a little a lot of people don't like that one. But that was probably one of the last raids that I was the raid leader for my group, and the sense of accomplishment that I got when we finally took down Lei Shen was just like, oh my god, I did it! Because I was having to do all the raid calls and everything like that. I was doing all the strats and everything like that back in the day. So it's a very good memory of me thinking back of all like my raid achievements and things like that. And when I was able to pull it off, and the reason why I know I never want to go back to raid leading. That's I love being general population. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
And DPS, mind you, DPS is even better because if I don't show up, you guys still get to have fun. So that's the way I.
I don't really matter.
It's like, I am replaceable, and it's fine.
Yep.
I like
love
that.
it.
I like knowing that I am not ruining someone's time by me not able to make it. Because back when I used to tank, God, I felt bad if I couldn't do it. Because it was like, all right, guys, call it.
Yeah.
Guys, no one was gonna try. It's like, no, it's progression night. Why would we even try?
Yeah. Jin can't be here. He's got 400 pulls in this boss. He's not coming tonight, so
Yeah,
nobody gets to play.
400 pulls. I don't do mythic. What are you talking about?
Okay. All right. 40 pulls. We'll
I was
drop
gonna
it
say
zero.
60 pulls is like, all right, we're gonna throw in the towel here. We need to bring in a
Question
ringer.
number. Yeah, that's right. Question number 9. What is your least favorite raid?
I'm gonna go for another two-parter here. First is just because it's the lamest raid that's ever been created of all time. We're gonna go with Crucible of Storms, the most forgettable raid ever. The one where basically no one got AOTC even, just because it's like, what was this? We have to collect crowns and things. Like there's, still to this day, I don't think I've beat that raid. Because I don't care.
You can't one-shot. I've gone back to, like, just farm it for Mog, and you need a party. You can't, like, it's BFA raid, and you still can't, like, just one-shot it. It's crazy.
Hate that place.
Yeah.
We did, as soon as the next raid came out, we're like, peace. We're never coming back. And then for the two-parter, it's just because we already kind of talked about it, so you kind of know why. It's the Hellfire Citadel. I hate that place. It was the most mind-numbingly monotonous, 9 months that I was glad I didn't go. Let's just say I appreciate Dragonflight's cadence. Dragonflight's cadence has been great, especially when you compare it to previous stuff that we had to deal with.
Yeah, and the raids this expansion, I think, have been really, really well done.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, big fan.
Vault of the Incarnates was a little... It was okay. It was bad. It was okay. But yeah, the other stuff beyond that, it's great. Yeah. Love it.
Cool. Question number 10. Gene, if Azeroth was real, where would you call home?
Gonna have to stick with my dwarven roots and go with the Hinterlands. And if it wasn't all spooky and messed up and it was actually nice still, Grimbertal. But it's kind of messed up at the moment. So I'd be hanging out in the Eyrie. With me and old Falstad Wildhammer. Yeah, that's me.
Love it.
I love the Hinterlands.
It's a pretty zone too, right? Like it's not just Like, yeah, you've got memories attached to it, and you've got, the Dwarven heritage there, but it's also like a gorgeous zone to be to.
Yeah, it is.
To be in?
To be to.
To be to?
Yeah.
To be
That's
to.
a sentence. Maybe.
We'll take it. We'll take that out in post. I'm going to mark that.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you very much. Jin, thank you so much for being here. I've had a lot of fun. Hopefully you have as well.
I have had a lot of fun. This was great.
Excellent. Can you tell our listeners where they can find you?
Oh, you can find me on Twitter. That is at Jin's Joint, right? Casablanca, you get it. Yeah, Jin's Joint. There you go. And, if you want to find the show that I'm on, you just search for Live, Laugh, Lore on any of your, podcasting platforms out there. And if you want to see me and Allie do silly little things, I recently created a TikTok, Instagram, YouTube. Just search for Live, Laugh, Lore on there as well. And you can hear me say more silly stuff and say things about the lore that I like, because I was like, oh yeah, this is fun. Yeah, woo, lore's fun.
Excellent.
Yep.
The lore is great. Definitely check out their podcast. You will not be disappointed, I promise you. And friends, you can follow us on Twitter. We are at RAF_podcast. You can subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. And if you're inclined, drop us a review. They do help the show get discovered. Remember, in a world where you can be anything, be kind. And we'll see you next week.